Alchemised by SenLinYu. Helena Marino wakes up drowning in the pitch-black confines of a stasis tank, her lungs burning after 14 months of induced paralysis. When she is finally violently extracted from the gel, she is greeted by blinding light and the cruel face of Dr. Irmgard Stroud, a Viviomancer with a squarish face, pursed lips, and a coldly ambitious demeanor. Stroud serves the Undying, a tyrannical regime of immortal alchemists who have conquered the city-state of Palladia. As Stroud violently probes Helena's mind using resonance, the magical energy that allows alchemists to transmute matter and flesh, she discovers something unprecedented. Helena's mind is locked behind flawless, self-inflicted transmutational barriers, hiding her memories. Deeming her a high-value asset, Stroud sends the dark-haired, exhausted, and foreign-born Helena to Spirefell, the decaying iron estate of the terrifying High Reeve. The High Reeve is Kaine Ferron, a startlingly youthful man with pale skin, silver-white hair, and razor-sharp, predatory silver-gray eyes. Kaine possesses the rare ability of animancy, allowing him to plunge into the minds of others. As Kaine begins the excruciating process of tearing down Helena's mental walls, her past bleeds into the present, revealing the tragic history she fought so desperately to forget. Years earlier, Helena had been a healer for the Eternal Flame, a resistance group fighting the Undying. The resistance was led by Lucian Holdfast, a burdened young principate with golden hair and sky-blue eyes, whose family was believed to possess divine alchemy. Luce was fiercely guarded by Lila Bayard, a tall, pale blonde paladin with ice-blue eyes, who later lost her leg and gained a brutal facial scar in combat. Helena, a rare flesh weaver known as a Viviomancer, was tasked with putting resistance soldiers back together, a process that drained her own vitality. The Undying, led by the grotesque and decaying High Necromancer Moro, were winning the war by reanimating fallen soldiers into a mindless army of necrothralls. In the darkest days of the war, the Resistance's calculating spymaster, the needle-thin Jan Crowther, and Luce's manipulative great-aunt Ilva forced Helena into a treacherous role. Kaine Ferron, who had notoriously murdered Luce's father years prior to spark the war, offered to spy for the Resistance. His price was a pardon and ownership of Helena. Helena was ordered to become his handler, tasked with using her abilities to enthrall him. However, during their clandestine meetings at an abandoned factory outpost, Helena discovered the horrifying truth behind Kaine's treason. He had only murdered Luce's father to stop Moro from torturing his mother, Enid. Bound to Moro through a phylactery, a piece of Kaine's soul trapped within Moro's own bone, Kaine was a literal slave to the High Necromancer. To prove his loyalty, Kaine endured horrific torture, including having a permanent, agonizing transmutational array carved into the flesh of his back, designed to strip away his humanity and forge him into the perfect, ruthless weapon. Despite their opposing sides and the heavy deception dictating their relationship, Helena and Kaine found solace in one another. Helena used her forbidden healing to soothe the agonizing infection in Kaine's back, and Kaine, beneath his icy exterior, showed profound gentleness. They fell into a desperate, consuming romance. He swore to her that she was his, and that he would always take care of her. But the war demanded a devastating toll. To aid a crucial resistance offensive, Helena secretly built a bomb using nullium, a volatile alloy that permanently stripped alchemists of their magic. She hid her involvement to protect Kaine, knowing his connection to her would result in his execution. The explosion decimated an Undying laboratory, releasing a toxic nullium dust over the city. In the chaotic aftermath, Helena was severely injured by a lich, Kaine's own father, Atreus, who was occupying the stolen corpse of a resistance general. Simultaneously, Luce made a foolish sacrificial play to save Lila from a monstrous chimera, resulting in his capture by Moro. During the rescue attempt, Lila's twin brother, Soren, was killed. In a moment of pure desperation, Helena broke the ultimate taboo and used necromancy to momentarily reanimate Soren's corpse to save the rest of the team. The heretic act fractured her soul. Ultimately, Helena was captured by the Undying. Knowing that Moro would rip her mind apart to find the Resistance's spy, Helena miraculously used her own magic to construct the impenetrable barriers in her mind, erasing her memories of Kaine before slipping into a coma. Back in the present, Kaine breaks through these final barriers, and Helena remembers everything. Kaine reveals that he is the one who found her broken body in the ruins. To save her from Moro's interrogators, Kaine secretly healed her, faked her death in the official records, and hid her in the stasis tank. But their nightmare is far from over. Stroud arrives at Spirefell with horrifying news. The decaying Moro needs a new, powerful body to possess, specifically that of an animancer. Because Helena is a presumed animancer, Stroud has reversed Helena's wartime sterilization. Under the threat of Helena being sent to a horrific breeding facility, Kaine is ordered to impregnate her. The coerced intimacy shatters them both, forcing them to confront the trauma of their captivity. Yet, as the weeks pass, their genuine love rekindles in the quiet isolation of Spirefell. Helena discovers she is pregnant with a baby girl. Because Moro requires a male vessel, Stroud dismisses the child as useless, buying Helena and Kaine precious time. Kaine promises Helena that they will escape across the sea, away from the war and the magic that has ruined their lives. However, Moro's regime begins to collapse as allied nations finally close in on Palladia. The tension inside Spirefell snaps when Atreus Ferron, still occupying a dead body, uncovers Helena's returning memories. He realizes that Kaine is the traitor who orchestrated the Nulian bombing and threatens to expose them to Moro unless Kaine submits to his control. In a fiery, desperate confrontation, Kaine uses his immense power to strike down his father. But Kaine's victory is a death sentence. Because of the phylactery bond, Kaine cannot leave Palladia. If Moro dies or severs the connection, Kaine's soul will be destroyed. Refusing to leave him behind, Helena orchestrates a terrifying gamble. She contacts Ivy, an orphaned rogue Viviomancer whose sister died due to the Resistance's machinations. In exchange for Helena's past mercy, Ivy infiltrates Moro's stronghold and manages to sever the rotting arm containing Kaine's phylactery, delivering it to Spirefell before fleeing the city. With minutes to spare as Moro's forces close in, Helena activates the massive ancient iron array and laid in Spirefell's foyer. She channels her raw animancy to sever Kaine's bond to the High Necromancer. In a grueling, agonizing magical operation, she rips the soul of Kaine's father, Atreus, from his lich body and uses it as a sacrificial tether, binding Atreus to the phylactery in Kaine's place. The magic succeeds. Kaine collapses, his soul fully restored to his own body, making him entirely mortal once more. As Spirefell burns to the ground, taking the evidence of their treason with it, Kaine and Helena escape. They climbed onto the back of Amorous, a massive black-winged wolf chimera that Kaine had secretly tamed and healed from Bennett's cruel experiments. Amorous launched into the night sky, carrying them away from the burning city and the war. They fly across the sea to a remote, sun-drenched island in Etris, Helena's homeland. There, they are miraculously reunited with Lila Bayard. Lila had survived the war and, hidden away in exile, secretly given birth to Luce's son, Paul. Together, the fractured survivors build a peaceful life in exile, free from the burdens of alchemy and the endless bloodshed of the North. Years later, the war in Palladia officially ends. Lila, unable to let Luce's memory fade into obscurity, eventually returns to the mainland to strike the final blow against Moro, cementing herself as a legendary hero and reopening the Alchemy Institute to all. In the epilogue, a teenaged Enid and Paul visit the newly rebuilt Palladia. In a bustling bookstore, Enid picks up a newly published definitive history of the Palladian War. She flips to the index and reads the entries. The text paints her father, Kaine Ferron, as history's greatest psychopath and monster. It dismisses her mother, Helena Marino, as a mere footnote, a non-combatant healer who quietly died in captivity. Enid closes the book, sharing a knowing, secretive look with Paul. They understand that the historians have it all wrong, but the true story of her parents' incredible sacrifice, their survival, and their enduring, world-breaking love will remain their own beautiful, protected secret.